Good evening, everyone. This is Prajakta. I would like to warmly welcome you all on behalf of NGEN Research. So meanwhile others join, what we will really do is introduce our topic for today. So our topic related webinar will predominantly revolve around holding analysis for mutual funds, wherein we'll have a look as to how we can check holdings sector-wise as well as stock-wise for all the mutual fund schemes that are really there, and how do the percentages change month on month, and how we can get an insight as to which is the sector that all the mutual funds are heavily investing towards and building up their positions. In addition to that, we'll also go on a singular fund and then check as to how can we check as to a number of shares increasing in a specific stock, that is the underlying exposure of a specific mutual fund. That's about the holding analysis. Then we will move over to category averages. In category averages, we'll definitely have a look as to how we can check category averages of let's say asset class as equity, and then their subcategories. In addition to that, we'll also compare category averages with respect to the performance of individual mutual funds to check if some specific mutual funds have managed to beat category average of that category. That's about the category averages. Next, we'll have a look at the dynamic daily NAV reports that get generated on NGEN Markets, and then you can have a look at that, and of course subscribe to them so that they'll get delivered to you on your email box every day morning. And then lastly, we'll throw the forum open for a Q&A session wherein you can get your questions answered by our team. So let's just begin the webinar. So that's this is the NGEN Markets platform. For the specific holding analysis discussion, we will head over to the funds section, which is the 4th tab. In the funds section, you will default land on the screener section. However, because we are analyzing holding analysis today, we'll just directly head over to holding analysis, wherein you will have 4 sub-tabs here under. It will start from sector changes, stock changes, equity holdings, and of course debt holdings. Firstly, let's come to sector changes. In sector changes, what you can check is all the asset classes that are as per the SEBI categorizations of it will be available. So let's say I want to check in equity as an asset class, and let's say in entire equity as an asset class, I want to check which of the sector is the entire equity asset class of mutual funds investing in. So I just have to click on equity and all of the sectors come up. Okay, so these are the sectors, and of course these are month on month holding positions of all the mutual funds taken together. What you can see here, number of funds in consideration, tells you how many funds in totality are there in entire equity as an asset class. Now let's say you want to analyze one level further, you want to drill down one level further and choose a specific SEBI category of it. For that, you can just come over to check funds with SEBI category, and let's say I want to analyze only small cap funds. I will directly head over to small cap funds, and I'll put this as a filter parameter. Now I can see the number of funds have specifically reduced, right? So when entire equity was into consideration, the number was much higher, 400 something, and then only small cap funds, it's like this. So there are currently, as on 30th of April 2023, 30 small cap funds currently trading in Indian markets, right? And out of these funds have heavily invested into banks as a sector, and as you can see, the trend has been pretty consistent with respect to since July 22 till December of 22. There has been a constant increase, and that's what we indicate by the color coding of red and green. So for example, as on 31st of May 2022, the holdings into banks were 3.53, and with respect to this month, there was definitely a decrease in holdings. That's why it is color coded into red. Now, for the past 3 months, of course, since February of 23, there's been a consistent increase in holdings into banks as a sector. That's why it is color coded as green month on month. Now, let's say we want to dive down further and know which are the funds which are investing into banks as a sector, and which is the fund which is heavily investing into it. So you just have to click on 6.98, which is the percentage cell, and this drop down gets opened. So what this will tell us is the highest percentage currently in small cap funds as a category which invests into banks as a sector, is Quant Small Cap Fund. It invests 17.93%. That's what is the holding into banks as a sector. And the amount comes to 734%. Right. So that's definitely the analysis that you can do, similar to what we did right now. So highest to lowest, you can definitely have a look at lowest to highest. Right. So you just have to click on percentage, or let's say amount, and then you can have the details at your disposal. Now, let's say you currently, of course, this is in percentage. Let's say you want to have a look at it in rupees invested in crores. You just have to click on value, this button here, and then you will definitely have this in rupee terms, of course, in crores. That's about the equity sector-wise changes. You can definitely have a look at whichever sector that you want, and then you can see the trend of it. So let's say, for example, in this sector, power generation and distribution, there has been a consistent increase with respect to value invested in crore rupees from 31st of August 2022, and the trend has been going on until now as well. Right. So that's how you can check the sector-wise changes. Let's now come to stock-wise changes. So in stock-wise changes, you just have to click on holding analysis again in stock changes. All of the stocks will be listed right here. So because there's a toggleable button, you can definitely pick and choose which stocks that you want. So because the asset class is equity, the drop downs will be large cap, mid cap, and small cap. So let's say, for example, in this case, let's have a look at the mid caps. When we click on mid caps, all of the stocks in the mid cap who have market capitalization classified as mid market cap, and they will definitely be listed right here. And then you can check as to what is the trend of all the mutual funds taken together investing into all of these mid cap funds. So mid cap stocks, for example. So for example, this Patanjali Foods, it has all of the mutual funds taken together invest 2.50 on an average into Patanjali Foods Limited as on 30th of April 2023. These holdings are published by AMCs on a monthly basis. So they will be updated on a monthly basis on NGEN Markets. So once you drive down here as well, you will have the number of funds and, of course, the details of the funds that are investing into Patanjali Foods Limited, which is a mid-cap stock. Now, of course, this was in percentage. Because these are stock level, you will also have the details of number of shares. Right. So Taurus Ethical Fund invests or holds 39,000 shares of Patanjali Foods Limited. Right. This analysis you can definitely do for whichever stock that you want. You just have to click on the toggleable button that is available right here and have the analysis in front of you. That's about, of course, the equity asset class. Now, moving ahead, we have also given an option for directly searching in the name of the stock and have all the mutual funds listed in a manner of a tabular manner and available for analytics as to what are their holdings in a specific stock. For that, you have to come to holding analysis, equity holdings. And of course, first of all, here there's definitely a pictorial presentation as to which are the top 5 sectors that are really being invested by all the mutual funds taken together. Right. And then let's say I want to check as to which are the mutual funds investing in ITC as a stock. I will just type in ITC here and just click on this, and I have all of these mutual funds investing into ITC as a stock. Of course, this is as on 30th of April 2023, which is the latest available holdings data, which is published by the AMCs. Okay, how do you read this table is this is the percentage holding. So ICICI Prudential Nifty FMCG ETF holds 32.73% into ITC. The fund AUM is 79 crores, and therefore 32% of that comes to 26 crore, right? So it holds 26 crores into ITC as a stock. And these columns right here, which is 1 month, 6 month, and 1 year, these are not the performance of the stock under consideration, but these are the performance of this mutual fund under consideration. So all of the columns that you see on the extreme right hand side, so 1 month, 6 month, and 1 year, these are the performance columns which correspond to the scheme or the mutual fund that is there on the left hand side. So that's the performance of the fund. So as you can see here, these top 10 or 15 have definitely been doing well in the last 6 months. However, SBI Nifty Consumption ETF has some negative numbers for the last 6 months into consideration. That's about the equity holdings. Now, let's say I want to have a look at some debt holdings which are there with respect to some stocks. So let's say I want to check in Yes Bank, for that matter, which of the mutual funds invest into its debt securities. All I need to do is go over here, search debt names, and search the name of the company right here, wherein I want to have a look as to what are the debt company whose debt I'm having a look at. So let's say Yes Bank. And then I just have to click on search, and I have these details, all of them coming up. Of course, the ratings, credit ratings of the debt securities of the stock that I'm looking for is definitely here. And of course, the name of the funds which are investing into these debt securities with respect to debt security under consideration. That's about the holding analysis with respect to debt holdings. Now, coming over to the second part of the webinar, which is with respect to the category averages. For that, you just have to head over to the category averages section. Again, in the funds section itself. So funds tab itself, there's a category averages section, which is right beside the holding analysis. Here, it will give you the average, first of all, the count of all the number of mutual funds currently trading in markets in a specific category. You can definitely have a toggleable button to search direct as well as regular. So currently I'm keeping it and sticking to regular funds, and then choose the asset class. So let's say I want to have a look at hybrid as an asset class. I just have to click on hybrid, and all of the 4 subcategories of it, which is as per the categories as per SEBI. So aggressive hybrid, balanced advantage funds, and all of that comes up. And how do you read this? So this means there are 34 aggressive hybrid funds currently trading in Indian equity markets. And of course, their average Sharpe ratios. What is their average volatility? Average value at risk parameter, which is an indication of the downside risk protection that is being offered by a fund. Right? So that's how you can read the category averages. Now, the crucial part of it, which is from these category averages, how do you take all of the funds that are in that category to the compare section right from here? You need not, I mean, let's say you do not want to perform any further screening on it. You do not want to apply any filter parameters, which is ideally done in the screener section, but you do not want to do any of those filtering parameters. You directly want to take the entire category, right? The consistent funds of that category into compare section from the fund section. All you need to do is click on the asset class that you're looking at, and let's say for an example, I want to have a understanding and compare all the sectoral infotech funds. The count of it is 5, so there are 5 funds. I just have to click on this. When I click on this, there's a drop down, there's a drill down that opens up, and these are the 5 funds that will be listed. Now I just have to click on this. It will automatically take all of these 5 funds to the compare section for further analysis. Once they are here, now I definitely can, run through the entire compare section analytics on it. However, restricting the compare section analytics only to category averages today, and of course, with respect to a benchmark, whether it's outperformance or underperformance. For that, once all of these funds are loaded in the compare section, I will just go to add other items, historical category averages. And because this was infotech, I will just add a category average infotech right here. So I will just search for it. Yeah, so sectoral infotech. Once I add this, it will get added as a row item. As you can see, category averages, sectoral infotech. This has gotten added as a row item right here. Now, in order to ensure that we are comparing correct with respect to these mutual funds, of course, which have different ages, right? So they have been around for different periods. So let's say I want to run analytics from, let's say, 2019. All I need to do is click on these return columns. There's a settings wheel right here. I just have to put in the date that I'm looking for to start the analytics of it. So of course, the default, I mean, you can definitely click on reset to inception, and then have it since inception. The data, all of this will be since inception. So whatever you can see right now here, it will be since inception. But let's say I want to do an analytics only from starting from 2019. I just have to click on this and put in a custom start date as 2019, 1st of May, and click on go. So now I can see an exclamation mark which says there's a custom start date that you've chosen, and therefore the analytics will now run the Sharpe ratio, the standard deviation. Everything will now be from 1st of May 2019, which is the start date that you have chosen here. Now, with respect to the category averages, if we want to check which of the funds have managed to beat the category average of Infotech in the last, in the last 4 to 5 years, that's starting from 2019, what I can do is click on CAGR. When I click on CAGR, with respect to this particular parameter, which is CAGR, I can see that only these many funds, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. So basically only 3 funds have managed to beat the category average with respect to the CAGR. These 2 funds have not managed to beat the category average of 19.70 because they fall below this line, right? Now, with respect to, you can do similar analytics for even Sharpe ratio standard deviation, which is, of course, Sharpe ratio will tell you what are the risk-adjusted returns of the mutual funds into consideration, and standard deviation will tell you what was the volatility or the risk of it. But what will actually give you an insight as to whether it is an outperformance or underperformance with respect to a benchmark will be adding a relative column. Because we're analyzing information technology as a sector, what we can do is add a relative benchmark to compare its performance against. For that, I will head over here, relative columns 2. So I will choose a benchmark which is relatable to, of course, this index. So let me choose an S&P BSC Infotech as a benchmark. You can definitely choose a Nifty equivalent as well. That's definitely there. For an example sake, I've just loaded in a BSc Information Technology as a benchmark. And then you need to ensure the second thing, which is very important here, is you choose the same start date as you're chosen right here. So it was 1st of May 2019. You need to make sure that this date is also set to the same specific date. So 1st of December, for 1st of May 2019. Once this is done, you just need to scroll towards your right-hand side. And you can see with respect to the beta, which is an indicator of the sensitivity, basically the risk of these funds with respect to the benchmark under consideration, with a lesser beta. Why do I say lesser beta? Because everywhere it's less than 1. The beta of the benchmark with itself will always be 1. So beta in this case of S&P BSC Information Technology as a sector is 1. With respect to that, everyone has a lesser beta. With a lesser beta, all of these funds, of course, this barring this is a category average, all of these funds have managed to generate an excess, that is alpha over the benchmark on an annualized basis. Of course, I can definitely rate this. So the lowest alpha is by Franklin India Technology Fund, which is 0.62% only. And on the other hand, the highest alpha, being ignoring this, of course, is ICICI Prudential Technology Fund, which is an alpha, annualized, of course, alpha of 10.69%. So that's how you can check whether the funds under consideration are outperforming or underperforming the benchmark under consideration. That's about the category averages. Now let's move over to do a quick holding analysis on a singular fund level. So whatever we did prior to this in the fund section was on the sector wise level or the stock wise level. But now if I want to do a holding analysis on a specific mutual fund scheme, so all I need to do is click on it. It will get opened in a new tab. And of course, there are multiple performance parameters, wherein you can check its performance against the benchmark. You can run a rolling analysis on it. You can run a drawdowns analysis. But for today's sake, we are definitely restricting it to asset allocation. In asset allocation, you just head over to the position changes by month and positions over time. This is specifically the holding analysis data and changes in underlying positions and the exposures of it. So first of all, in overview, it will tell you all of its holdings. So these are the holdings. Infosys is the highest, which is 27.63, which makes sense. It's a technology fund. It holds highest into Infosys, which is 27.63. Again, as you can see, this holdings data is as on 30th of April 2023. And these are all the holdings that are there, which are the exposures of this fund. Now, let me come to position changes by month. This will tell you how the positions changed month on month with respect to one specific fund. It will definitely give you the largest increases and, of course, the largest decreases that were made by this mutual fund and the fund manager during this month, right? So, as on 30th of April 2023 with respect to the previous month. So as on 30th of March, whatever positions were there with respect to that month, what were the largest increases and the largest decreases that were made by this fund as on a specific date, as on a April end. So that's about the position changes by month. In addition to that, if you come to the extreme right hand side, it will give you the positions added. So these are new positions entered by the mutual fund in this specific month. So in April 2023, these are the new positions that were added. So with respect to 31st of March, KPIT was not a holding, right? The fund under consideration, it was not holding anything into KPIT Technologies. And this can definitely be checked.
हेलो हेलो
हेलो
वॉइस नहीं आ रही है सर.
हाँ, is it lost और क्या हो गया, रुक गया
I
है
think
क्या?
there must be some connection issue. We're just checking. Just hold on 1 second, please.
Okay.
Please just hold on for a couple of minutes. I think there's been some connection issue. We're just coming back in a second. Hi, are we back?
सर हाँ सर 5 मिनट.
Sorry sir, Bombay office में I think कोई issue हो गया है. Just 1 second. मैं आपको 1-2 मिनट में बता देता हूँ if there is a resolution or not. Sorry about this.
वो अभी नोटेड करा रहा हूँ, अभी फोन आया था उनको.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Prajakta, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry for the glitch. Okay. So as I was saying, is there a duplication in my voice?
No, it's fine. You can go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, coming back. So we were discussing on the category averages. So we were on this specific fund, and then we were have a look as to KPIT in technologies. This was a new position that was this was the new position that was entered by this fund in the month of April.
आपको कूदने का वो कर देता हूँ.
Hello.
बैठो ना सर, प्रभु. बहुत बहुत.
Hello, I think there's some feedback coming in your voice. If you've
Okay,
joined from two
this is-
places, just just disconnect from one of them.
Yes. Yes. Hello. Yeah, I hope this is better now.
Yeah, this is fine. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So now, yeah, so as I was discussing, so with respect to this fund, which is, this stock, KPIT Technologies, this was a new position that was added by this mutual fund in in April of 2023. That's specifically what you can see even in positions over time, wherein when we just search KPIT, we can see there was no holdings in previous months, and the holding is pretty new. It was an added new holding, right? So we can definitely have a look at this. As you can see, there was no, there are all dashes, so no holdings into KPIT Technologies by this fund previously. And this is the new holding that is added in as on 30th of April, 2023. Of course, this is in terms of percentage. Now, let's say you want to have a look as to how many, with respect to these valuation changes, is of course, with respect to percentage. Let's say you want to have a look at it in terms of shares in lakhs. Just click on this drop down, and then of course there's a tab wherein you can have a look at it in terms of shares in lakhs. So as you can see, there is definitely an increase in holdings with respect to Infosys. There's a increase in holdings of shares, right? So as on 28th of February 2023, it was just 191.23 crores. With that, as on March and April, of course, there's an increase in number of shares that were acquired of Infosys. That's how we can check on a singular fund level, how does the holding analysis pan out. That's with respect to the holding analysis of a specific fund. Now, going back to the last part of the webinar, which is dynamic NAV reports that are generated on a daily basis, of course, working days only on platform. And that's for that, you just have to head over to the fund section. There's a second last tab, which is the reports tab. It will give you all of the, of course, here also there's a toggleable tab, regular and direct. So let's say I'm choosing only regular funds. And this is a list for the close to past 6 odd months. You will definitely have it. So this is from 13th of September 2023, daily basis. What are the how did the nav changes? So these are the nav reports, right? So you can definitely pick and choose one specific date and definitely download this into Excel and have a look at it for analysis. But in addition to that, we've also provided something like a subscribe button, right? So if you click on this, if you click on subscribe button, it will definitely deliver on the email that is registered with NGEN, the login email. On your email box, you'll get this daily update delivered on your email box at every single morning 9:30 a.m. So let's have a look as to how dynamic this can really look like. So let me just open the daily nav that had run today morning. So this will definitely have yesterday closing navs. So this is definitely the dynamic index. So let's say I want to directly head over to let's say a large cap as a category, right? I just have to click on this and it will directly take me to this tab in Excel, of course, and then I can have a look of all the mutual funds. So basically 31 large cap funds currently trading into Indian equity markets. The highest AUM with respect to this category is by ICICI Prudential Blue Chip Fund, and of course others are to follow. Their NAVs, of course, their total expense ratios and sharp ratios, 1 month, 3 month, 6 month parameters are definitely there. In addition to that, you can also have the category averages, which we saw on platform, even in Excel download, right? You can definitely keep this for record and definitely use it for further analytics, right? That's how the dynamic daily nav reports will run.
There seems to be more problems here. I think we will just gonna end the presentation here for today. We'll try to sort out what the issue is in the office with the internet. But in the meantime, for whoever is still on the call, if you have any questions, please do let us know so we can we can just address them. Hi, Projecta, if you can hear me.
Hello, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it's cutting off a couple of times. So we just asked for people to just come up with any questions that they have, because we'll just end the presentation for today. So if anybody has any questions, please please let us know. Any questions on the chat, or you can unmute and ask us, and we'll address your questions on either some of the topics that were discussed today or anything in general. Okay, we haven't had any questions today. So extremely sorry for the connection issues. We've had some power and internet issues in the Mumbai office. So we will end the call for today, and we will definitely come up with another topic, and of course we'll address whatever issues happen today, so it doesn't repeat itself next week. Yeah, thank you so much for coming, and Prajakta, we can just end the call for today.
Yes. Thank you everyone for joining. Apologies for this glitch. You can definitely have a look at all the webinar recordings on the YouTube channel that will definitely be uploaded. And thank you so much for joining in. Have a great weekend, everyone.